He died young, at the age of 33. So most of his work was published posthumously. Initially, some of it was from his executor, Eugene B. Redman, who was the executor of his will. As his estate, he published Poetry for My People, Dumas's first collection to get published. And at the time, Toni Morrison was an editor at Random House and managed to influence them to publish several more of his collections. I said he died young. He died at the age of 33. He went through a subway station, 125th Street in Harlem, and was fatally shot and killed by a white police officer. There is very little information that we have about what happened. This was in 1968. According to the obituary, the claim was that he had a knife and he was threatening another person. And when the cop went to intervene, he got angry and allegedly slashed the cop, and the cop shot him. Most of the evidence to this case is gone. It's gone missing. So there's not a lot that we can do except take the word of the police officer, which is sadly, especially I'm sure these days, it feels like a difficult track record. It's also, I guess, important to notice that just a few years earlier, we had separate water fountains. We had separate entrances. 1965 was when Black women finally got the right to vote. So it was a very tumultuous time, and what at the time sort of felt like the peak of systemic racism, in the nation. Also, it's good to point out that this was the Serpico years. If you've ever seen the movie Serpico, this is when Frank Serpico was beginning to call attention to some widespread corruption and abuse that was going on in the police department, which led to him being shot in the face, not by a police officer, but they were doing a raid, and he had no friends on the force at that point. And so when he went in to do the bust, apparently no one else followed in. And so he was on his own and got shot. And Pacino had asked him later on, he said, why did you take such a big risk in such a department during that time? And he said, if I didn't, how could I listen to a piece of music?